Good morning. It's February 17th, 9:16 in the morning. I waited an extra couple hours to try and get the snow off the ground. It didn't work. Snow is still on the ground. And I'm taking a look over here, just checking out the chickens, seeing how it's going with them. No eggs so far from these guys. They're still pretty young. I don't even think they're a month old yet. Do have our rock picker, but we still can't really use it on the snow. And unless we were driving backwards, can't really use like any sort of snow plow. We do have a couple of crates of things here that we could load up. We're still waiting for the snow to dissipate, to melt. Because I'm taking, let's take a look here. We could try to run the rock picker over everything here. Maybe. Try to pick up all the rocks, but like I said, you can't see the rocks, which is not helpful at all. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and load up the crates of goods, or the pallets of goods here. Gonna have to lower the sides here to be able to do it. We're just kind of waiting for the snow to melt so we could see the ground. The other thing too I could do is get ready with the fertilizing machine. So since we're not leasing equipment, we have to take out a loan to be able to get a fertilizing machine right now. And we're just gonna get the basic size one. It's a lot of snow on the ground. I might want to invest in either a road salter, or a salt spreader, or possibly a plow. But again, we'd probably have to drive backwards with the tractor to be able to use that at all. And the way I think I'm going to load these up is I'm going to go from the sides, from the thin portions. That's really difficult to do here. There we go. I'm going to go from the sides like this to be able to load it up on the back here. And we're not going to go sell these right away. I would like to wait until there's a few more. We do want to try and straighten out a bit. There we go. And should be able to just like that. And we're going to have to strap them down and kind of maybe if we load it the other way, it'd probably work too. If we load it now, we could pick it up like this, and then if we pick it up say the regular way a pallet would be picked up here, the long side, the wide side here like this, and then we can, let's see if it works. Whoa, snow on the ground. Yeah, if we load them up, you know what, I think I could pick up two at the same time with this. See if we can do that. I kind of fixes a few issues right away. Having to try and straighten out the pallets on their own. Let's go ahead and put it down now, and then try and straighten out as best as possible. Let's see. See what we can do here. A little further down, there we go. And then just drive forward and hopefully pick this one up on the forks as well. Just like that. That's what we want. And we get 2 crates, or 2 pallets at the same time. And then try to park them up onto the trailer. Now it's going to be a little weird when we go to sell it because it automatically starts selling them before we unstrap them, so the straps will make random noises while we're getting out and unstrapping them. Alright, so if we just do that like that, there we go. Just like that. Now I know there are mods to help with loading trailers up, the automatic, the auto load, and I do have those because some friends use them, and it is pretty useful because sometimes loading the pallets can be a real chore. But we're gonna try and stick with not using a mod like that if we can help it. But yeah, the trailers and pallets kind of fight each other at times. Don't know why. It's a little strange what will happen. Like sometimes if you get the pallets a little too close to each other, they like to bounce around, or sometimes they won't even come off the forks unless you force them off the forks, which is a really large pain in the backside. So hopefully we don't have to deal with too much of that. But if it does start happening, we'll subtract some pallets off of the loads that we'll be putting on them on the trailer here, so that way we can try to avoid that. It'll take a few extra trips, but we'll just deal with the few extra trips. That's perfectly okay. Whoa. Couldn't turn. Snoo. Now, one thing I want to try and get before long, well, definitely before harvest, we need a silo of some sort to keep the goods in, to keep the sunflower seeds in. Won't need that for a little bit, obviously. Probably October, I think, is when you can first start. We can check that. Yeah, October. October's the time frame when you can first start harvesting sunflowers if you plant them in March. So we won't have to worry about that for quite some time. But yeah, that's definitely one thing we'll need in the future is a silo. And we'll probably just put down one of the regular, or one of the mod silos for this map specifically. So now we have 500 liters of strawberries and 1,000 liters of tomatoes. And what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and park this over here under the bale shelter, close by the greenhouses here. I'll just make sure to fill those up whenever we get the chance. Or put the crates or the pallets on the back of that whenever we get the chance. And it looks like we're still not going to get any sort of snow melt going on right now. Oh yeah, it's only 39 degrees right now. So we gotta figure out what to do. Not sure. We can try our best You know what? Let's go to the shop. Let's buy the the fertilizing machine. So the fertilizer that we're gonna get is that one right there. The what was that? The Bredal K105. So we're not gonna get any extensions. We might pay for the extra for the thin tires, maybe. Probably not, though. I don't actually see a point in doing that. And then we're going to just keep the spreader that same size. So we need a loan to be able to afford this. $45,000. We could get the big version, but I think we'll just stick with the regular sized version for right now. So we're going to go ahead and take out that loan. $45. So to buy, well, we'll wait till we get to the shop to buy that, because we also have to buy lime, which is going to cost us a bit of money. I don't know if we'll be able to spread over the snow, but we want to grab at least 8,000 liters worth of lime. So that's 4 of these bags. So that's not too bad. It's 1,050 for 8,000 liters of lime. Lime's pretty inexpensive, but you'll see why as it spreads. When you're spreading it, it empties the trailer really quick. We may have to we may have to take loans to get all the fertilizer and stuff that we need to be able to fertilize the entirety of our fields and lime the entirety of our fields, because we want as much yield out of them the first go around as possible, so that way we can pay down as much of the loan as possible, because we need this equipment, but we also don't want to go into debt because of the loan. Don't want to lose money because of the loan, basically, is what I'm getting at there. We had to take out a loan to get something. Oh, and the snow's gone. What did we take out the loan to get anyway? Because I think we ended up repaying some of that back already. Yeah, I think we paid some of that back. Let's grab the fertilizer. Let's grab the Bredal spreader and the lime required, or the lime that we want to use. So we'll get the lime first. That's 4 bags. Okay, and then the spreader. Oof. Okay. So I would have gotten one of the smaller ones instead, but the smaller ones can't spread lime, which is definitely something that affects the crops by a lot. We're gonna try and be as smart as we can with how we spread the lime. Just gonna fill up with the lime here. Get this back over to the homestead. Now, fertilizer coming out of one of these things, you're given a bit more leeway with how much is used. So the lime is kind of the biggest thing to be able to be, kind of. You can't really be like strategic, but you can kind of shut it on or shut it off and turn it on. Depending on how much of the field you're trying to spread onto. So I'm gonna get this back to the homestead, and we'll start spreading lime on the field, or on the field that we already destoned. And then once we're done with that, we can start spreading, or we can start destoning the other two fields. So I'll see you back there. Okay, so we're back here at the homestead, and I've kind of made somewhat of a decision here on the greenhouses and how we're gonna allocate the water to what crops or what products come out of the greenhouses, what produce we get from the greenhouses. So the two medium greenhouses I'm going to set to strawberries once the tomatoes are done in there. And then the large greenhouse, once the strawberries are done in there, I'm going to set that to tomatoes. So it kind of should be pretty good as far as, you know, what's being produced out of there. Yeah, see what I mean by the spreader. I'm already messing it up. So that's what we're gonna do. Hang on one second. Let's see. I'll explain it more here in a second. So that's what I mean by, like, not really strategically spreading lime, but trying to control the flow of the lime as best as possible. Whoa. Just switching it on for a quick minute. So here, I'll show you what I mean here. So medium greenhouses set to tomatoes are only going to produce one pallet and some tomatoes every month. So if you could see cycles per month, and that's the recipe of the cycle. Strawberries produce, it does the same amount of cycles, but it's doubled. So it's 1,342 cycles. Well, it's 1,342 strawberries, because that's the recipe per cycle. This is how I'm reading it and how I understand it anyway. So if it's different, let me know. But with these numbers, you get about, let's see, so 1344, that's what it is. 1344 and 1344, which is 2688, right? 2688. Now this one produces over 3,000, so you get 6 crates. This one is 2,688, so you get 3 crates. So 2 mediums is the same pretty much as this. Almost. But that way I could get like basically three crates. Wait, 16 is 2. So it's 2. So this would be 4 crates from both of these, and this one would be 3 crates of tomatoes. So I get more tomatoes, which sell for a bit better. And from what I could tell from how many liters of tomatoes you produce and how much they're worth, they're kind of the best option possible. But I also want to grow different stuff inside the greenhouses, so we just have a variety of things, more for aesthetic reasons than anything else. But I think the better split would be to tomatoes in the large greenhouse and strawberries in the 2 medium greenhouses. So that way we still make some good money. Because it's like two pallets of strawberries might be worth like 1 pallet of tomatoes, but not necessarily. So just gonna lime up this field, and then we'll start collecting rocks out of the other one, and we'll find a spot probably in between that large rock and the vehicle workshop right there. That's where we'll probably dump the stones. And we probably won't start fertilizing anything until just before putting down the seed. So we'll do it just before, maybe. Because we still need money to be able to put seed down, or not only put seed down, but everything else that we need. The fertilizer, we need money for the fertilizer, obviously. So here's another kind of example right here of spreading lime. So I'm spreading this lime. I'm kind of over the line a little bit and using a bit more than I should, but this is how I would want to do this edge here. Just switch it on, switch it back off. Instead of running up this section of the field here, you just activate it quickly on the thing and then deactivate it so you don't use as much. I don't know, I haven't done that much extensive testing with if that actually saves you any or not, but it seems to me like it would, because you're not leaving it running while going down this. You're just trying to cover what you need to cover and then switch it off immediately, so that way you're not wasting lime, essentially. So that way we don't have to buy as much lime to get all this done. And that was kind of a screw up. There we go. See how there's like a little bit left. I'm gonna have to get that. I don't necessarily need to get little spots like that, but I feel better when everything's completely done on a field rather than leaving a little bit open. Or unfinished, rather. I use like 2 liters right there to do that. Okay, so we're gonna park the spreader over here and grab the stone picker. We don't need to zoom out quite so much with the stone picker. And we're just going to go ahead and fill this thing up and then find a spot to dump it. Which, like I said, I think we'll just go ahead and dump it between the workshop, the vehicle workshop, and the little stone formation that's next to it. I should probably fill up pretty quick too. There's a lot of stones on this field. A lot of stones. I'll just go right through the center here. Grabbing them as we go. Okay. A little hard to see. Where the stones are. And I believe I had stated it before, but we're gonna have to figure out. Whoa. Can't see. Oh, there we go. That was strange. Now we won't be able to really do much with the stones right now because we need to be able to put a debris crusher down before being able to sell them. There is no debris crusher that comes standard on this map on No Man's Land, so yeah, it's something we're gonna have to do ourselves. This is really awkward. There we go. Just kind of stuck in the ground there. Yeah, I would imagine it's just how this hill is. Why it's giving us issues. We're just gonna get all the stones out of the field. I need them all gone. Don't like running them over, causing undue problems for our vehicles. Now, it's definitely gonna take a few passes to get everything. Take a bit of time. See, this is really weird, like how this happens. There we go. I think it's just getting... It might just be the nature of the ground around here. It's just very uneven or something. It's not as clean as a flat section. I can only imagine trying to use a stone picker on an actual field, because there's no way you could just see all these stones like this that easy. Probably having to go over it meticulously to try and get rid of as many of the stones that you can as possible, because you don't want these things getting stuck in your machinery. That would just... What in the world? Wow, it is like... It is stuck. You get it off this hill. I don't know what I'm gonna end up having to use to keep that from happening again, but it's almost like yeah, it's doing it again. Whew, man, that's kind of disheartening. Is it because of how the hill is set up? It is having a rough time of it. Maybe the Hill of Sunflowers wasn't such a great idea. I think one thing I'm gonna have to use... Huh. Is it the weight? Maybe? Is it the weight of all the rocks causing it to be a problem? I bet that's what it is. I bet it's the weight of the rocks back there. It's like really yanking on the tractor, maybe. I don't know. That's strange. I've never had this issue before. Yeah, I'm gonna have to dump the rocks off then. See if that actually helps. If not, we're gonna have a hell of a time trying to get these rocks off this hill. Or just raise and lower the pickup. I think it's the hill. Oh, no. Maybe? I don't know. This is weird. Yeah, it has something to do with the shape of the hill. Must be. Because now it's, you know, semi-running correctly. I wonder if I'll be... Okay, so I'm going to take a right up here instead of going left. Just to see what happens when I go up this hill. If there's a huge issue, then I'll know what's up. It's having a problem pulling it, but it's not really getting stuck in the ground. It's just having an issue trying to pull this thing. That's probably because there's 2,100 liters of stones in it. And I think this thing holds 2,300 liters. We'll see here in a minute. But it already seems that already seems like the time's coming up to an end here for today's work. I just want to see. Yeah, we should be able to hold 2,300 liters, I think. So let's turn it back around. Yeah, it's having a hard time on the hills here. I mean, this thing is rated for 100 horsepower, and that's pretty much exactly what this tractor runs at. So it's going to have some problems running it and also pulling it with all this stuff in the back of it. That's just kind of the nature of how that is. This has been my experience in these games. Like, yeah, you may have the horsepower, the exact required minimum horsepower, but you're still going to have issues pulling it once it's full of whatever it's being filled up with. Let's go drop these rocks off. Let's go dump the rocks. Like I said, we'll put it like right here between these two. And we'll basically just be holding a pile of rocks there until we can get a debris crusher out here somewhere. Let's work a little bit more. I know it's kind of hard to see right now. It's definitely hard for me to see what's going on. I'll just try and collect up as many stones as possible with one more pass here. And when we get to the hill section, we'll see if, because of how many rocks were in there before, how many stones were in there before, if that causes any issues with it if it's less stone. Hopefully that's all it is. Either that or it's all the really badly uneven ground over here. Maybe I should have landscape smoothed it out first. Looks like it's doing okay right now. Let's see what happens when the pickup's lowered. Oh no, it's just the landscape around here is the problem. So we'll do the typical type of trickery of raising and lowering the pickup of the machine to kind of skirt around the issue of the landscape here. Now I wonder how that'll be affected by when we go to seed the area too. See, like, what is the problem here? What seems to be the problem here? Two wheels on the ground. The middle isn't stuck in the ground. Yeah, I don't know. It's just strange nonsense happening. So it's just kind of like getting stuck right there. Refuses to go. Okay, there it goes. Hopefully the little seeder or the planter doesn't have as many issues. But I think that's, let's see. Well, we got enough time for like one more pass. I'm trying to get the stones we can see easily. Well, I hope it wasn't a mistake trying to do this kind of like hilltop farming. You know, like maybe the harvester, when you run over, it's not going to collect everything it's supposed to or something. Come on. It's not that much back there yet. It's almost like the bar of the stone picker is getting stuck on the ground. Maybe that's what it is. Just go as fast as possible. Or just bounce over the hills. Alright, we'll call that good for now. Because I can hear the dinner bell. It's time for dinner. Go to bed. So we're just going to go ahead and park this on up. Head inside. So in the morning we'll continue picking the stones out of the fields here. And if need be, load up a pallet of strawberries. Because I think we'll probably have another one here pretty soon. Soonish. We could check all that stuff before going to bed. I like to do the morning and evening checks of our production. So 41% here. That's already fairly close to being done. That's been going pretty quick there. The chicken's growing and giving us eggs here. Okay. We might need to go get some more barley for these guys too. Chickens are doing good, as far as I could tell. Silage fermenting 41%. This one should be about 8%. I was thinking 9, but we got our greenhouses. That's still going. So once these reach 100 tomatoes, I'm gonna swap them over to strawberries. And once this reaches its last thing of strawberries here, or once it reaches 500 liters of strawberries, I'm gonna switch this one to tomato. So that one's definitely going to be done before the other two. But everything's looking good. So we're going to go ahead to bed. And like I said, this is where we're going to be piling the debris until we can get the debris crusher. Nice limed up field here. Alright. But that's it for today, everybody. If I had a video game, I'd probably play it here. But I'm gonna get some dinner and wash up and go to bed. Thanks for stopping by the homestead, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. Until then, have a great night, everyone.